Sometimes as parents, we can feel like our hands are being forced to give our kids access to things that really we never intended to give them access to. Sometimes schools give our kids access to devices or access to websites or knowledge or information that we didn't intend to have them have access to. Or maybe inside of their friend groups, in order to participate in community, they're being required to have access to social media or different apps that we didn't want them to necessarily participate in. Sometimes it can kind of cause us as parents to be put in a dark place where we question if we're really able to make the best decisions for our kids, or if the best decisions for our kids are kind of being forced on us. Well, today in the Celebrate Kids podcast, in this daily segment, Facing the Dark, Dr. Kathy's going to explore this topic, especially looking at it through the lens of different technologies that are kind of being foisted upon us as parents to allow our kids to have access to. How can we set up healthy parameters with also good processes and maybe even procedures to walk through this stage of life with them? So let's turn now to Dr. Kathy Cook for some insights on this topic.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby. Not every light is gonna guide you.
So Dr. Kathy, I want to ask you kind of a question to start this show. How old should a child be before they get their first cell phone? There's kind of only one correct answer according to a Yale University psychologist. Her name is Professor Laurie Santos. She says, wait as long as possible. She goes on to say, quote, I think the more we can hold off giving our kids technology, the longer, the better. She said that in a recent The Happiness Lab podcast on CNBC. And she kind of outlined how children ages 8 to 12 who have cell phones spend just under 5 hours a day glued to their phone. She talks about how teenagers rack up nearly 8 hours of screen time per day, according to a 2019 report. Now, halting cell phone use for children and young people, having kind of them wait until 8th grade, comes with incredible benefits. That's something that a new organization called Wait Until 8th says. They go on to say that if you can keep your kids from having cell phones until the 8th grade, you'll find that statistically they have a less risk of anxiety and depression, an increased quantity and quality of sleep, and they have more time for physical activity in the outdoors. So Dr. Kathy, with all of this said, I want to ask you specifically, kind of a pointed question, is there an ideal time to start introducing technology like cell phones for our kids?
A brand new app called Bumpers. Bumpers is a browser for children, and you get an app on a child's phone, so they have to have a phone in order to use this particular application. And you have an app on the parent phone, and children request being able to go to websites and videos, and the parent gets alerts, and the parent approves it. The child finds out if it's been approved or not. And so that's a beautiful thing. If you are going to give your kid a full-on phone because they have a need for it educationally, or you think they're mature enough to handle it, Bumpers is a great browser that'll protect. In a general sense, it slows down that journey. It stifles development. I think it creates immature children because we can or they can become very self-centered, selfish. The whole selfie mentality, if you will, where it's all about me. I think they become less service-oriented, and yet we're created to leave the world a better place, and we do that by serving others. So it has the potential, technology overused.
Yeah, that might be an easy time to stop answering that question, because it is a little bit sticky, and you've talked a lot about this, and I always try to drill down.
If you're listening to these episodes in succession, you'll kind of realize that I love this passage out of 2 Peter, chapter 1, beginning in verse 5. For this very reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and goodness knowledge, and knowledge self-control, and self-control perseverance, and perseverance godliness, and the godliness mutual affection, and mutual affection love. For if you possess these qualities in increasing measure, they will keep you from being ineffective and unproductive in your knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. I love the way that Peter includes these 2 words at the end, ineffective and unproductive. I think that's the idea that Dr. Kathy is getting at. As we close out here, that oftentimes different things inside of culture or society become kind of the primary thing, and technologies are designed to do things for us, to help us kind of avoid different things that might be mundane or repetitive. That's especially true with the technologies that we have today. But what we see here in this list that Peter gives us is that experiences and other things give us an opportunity to add to our faith. Different things like goodness and knowledge, self-control, perseverance, mutual affection, love, all of these things kind of go together to build up our faith. And they do it in a way that keeps us from being ineffective and unproductive. productive. Sometimes technologies can kind of gloss over that. And I think what Dr. Kathy was pointing out here is that watching how much we allow technology to step into our life, and maybe even to step into our life to make us a kind of person, a more efficient person, a nicer person, a person who has better understanding of the world, a person who isn't bogged down in the mundane or the day-to-day. Those are all noble things, but they also can be really distracting. They can be distracting from the things that God is working to teach us. And God often does that through challenges, or even through what I would say are habits, little habits, tiny habits, rhythms. Some might call them liturgies that happen in our day-to-day. Those things add to our faith. And I think it's important for us as parents to find those things and call them out for our kids, to say, every day when you wake up and you make your bed, that's a good thing. That's a thing that teaches you. Maybe you could pray during that time, or when you're brushing your teeth, to think of the people that you're going to meet today and how you could serve them. Those things, I think, add to your faith. And technology sometimes can gloss over that. So I think today, as we're working throughout our day and kind of considering all the things that are going on, let's be mindful of that. Have those different conversations with our kids, especially as we're using different technology. When we make our order for Starbucks on our phone, and it bypasses the opportunity to say hi to the barista, does that make us better humans or not so better? Does it make us people that have practiced patience standing in a line and getting to know their neighbors? Or does it just make us people that are kind of gliding over them? So let's engage the world today, notice those technologies, and call them out with our kids, and have great conversations today. I think those things will be incredible lights that shine bright in dark times. And I think they actually kind of celebrate kids when we have those conversations and honor our kids that way. I want to thank you for listening to the Celebrate Kids podcast in this, our daily segment, Facing the Dark. On behalf of Dr. Kathy Cook, my name is Wayne Stender, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you here again tomorrow.
Perfect. Yeah, it is bumpers.app. That's awesome, Kathy. I love those things. We've actually used and implemented a number of those kind of in our family, and have friends who are doing 1,000 hours outside, and they've got the map and they're drawing it and showing us on Instagram and Facebook that when they've spent time outside, now they come back inside and post it on the internet, which I kind of think is fun and funny in a little bit, but I love it. I just think it's great. What do you think we need to understand to kind of close here? How technology really impacts young people as they develop? Because I know that there's a lot of things that kind of go into this topic, especially things like protecting our kids from different things like pornography or other people on the internet who mean them ill will, or all of this, the addictive nature of different things. But I kind of want to lump all of that just into a pile and ask you the bigger question. What does this do to our kids who are looking to grow and develop and mature?